Okay, let's begin today's session. It will be based on interview questions. As we were handling many static banking awareness sessions in few of our classes in last 1 month, so I received feedback from senior bankers from State Bank of India that to allow my students to talk, because this is in entire classes the only person who talks is me. Okay, so for the benefit of students, they need to talk. Even if there will be a written, but written will have no weightage in final selection. It will be just for qualifying. It is just to qualify. Okay, but final selection will be based on interview. So in interview, you all need to speak of. You need to be tension free to face an interview board. You need not have apprehensions facing the interview board. First, second point, you should have enough data, enough knowledge with you, and questions whatever we will discuss in upcoming sessions, the questions will be mainly based on that. Even if there will be some googly or some out of syllabus question, that will constitute 1 out of 10. Okay, so even if you pass that question, it will not hamper your final scoring. So today I have few questions lined up for you. We will discuss that. So I expect all my students to join in. You can unmute and tell the answers. Okay, and others can mark. I will expect that we all are having a banking knowledge, so I will expect others to mark these answers. If I am asking Satya Prakash a question and he is answering, so out of 10, how much you expect to give him mark? Others can provide it, so that he will have a scope for improvement. Okay, so the thing is that in interviews or anything in life, you have to dare to do mistakes. And if you can do the more do mistakes you do in trial sessions, it is better for you. And please expect and accept rectifications or adverse remarks that your answering skills are not good, your knowledge is not up to mark, or you have missed this or you have missed that. So all that type of review should be accepted by you humbly. And okay, so this is the best thing you can do. And I was looking into one of the web series, I guess. What is that? I forgot. That was, I think, the Kota Factory. There was a dialogue. If you are a topper in a class, then probably you are in a wrong class. Okay, so that means everybody has a scope of improvement. So this is the thing. I expect you to accept the feedbacks. So, and I request when somebody is answering, give a feedback and be honest in giving a feedback, so that will improve them. Okay, and whenever I ask a question, the person who first raised the hand will be given the chance to speak up. Okay, let's begin. Here is the first question: why India's GDP is in decline? Okay, and in second point, you have to answer that, do you believe it is as act of God? Who want to answer? First, I want to know what is this percentage of decline in GDP. Is anyone going to tell what is the percentage decline in GDP? Yes, 23 point. This is not exact 23. Yes, 23.9. Great. So who is going to answer why India's GDP is in decline? Yes, Madhusudan, please go ahead. You unmute and speak, please. And others, be ready with your counters. Be ready with your feedback. Okay, great. Okay, that's great. But I want others, anybody else? First, anyone want to rectify Madhusudan, or anyone else want to answer, give a answer, detailed answer? But before that, if somebody want to rate Madhusudan, then out of 10, Madhusudan, you please raise down your hand. Okay, great. Others, please give him a mark out of 10. I will be telling you, not an issue. Others, please, and what mistake he has done, not in answering, but the way he answered. He has done a great mistake in terms of attitude, and that is not attitude, you say, the way he spoke. He has done a great mistake. It's a big mistake. Okay, Satya Prakash gave you 8. Okay, out of 10. That's great. That's great. But can anyone tell what was the mistake? Can anyone tell? I found a big mistake. Not in answering. The points he raised was up to mark. That was not issue. But there was a great mistake. Can anyone tell what is that mistake? The way he answered, there was a mistake. He was a bit long. Okay, this is a great mistake. Whenever there is an answer and you know such type of questions will be asked to you, so you have to be short and crispy, because nobody is going to give you more, beyond 30 seconds. Okay, so it is a great mistake. If you cannot justify yourself within first 30 seconds, then nothing going to happen. Before you complete this question, answering this question, someone else is going to shoot another question. So the man who asked this question will find himself not getting sufficient answer. Whatever you find the real reason of GDP decline, you have to point out them first. Don't even if you don't make a complete sentence, you put some words like, sir, I believe the main reasons of falling of GDP decline. You don't repeat the question. That's a good idea not to repeat the question, sir. It is only because consumption. The consumption is going down. That could be the main reason. Okay, then he will be asking you, apart from consumption, what you think, sir? Private investment is not coming to the country. So then what do you think that what are the main reasons of GDP decline or growth? What are the main parameters on which GDP growth is recorded or GDP falls? So you will say that, I believe, sir, this is government's expenditure, government's investment and expenditure, private investment, consumption, public consumption. Okay, so what I expect you to prepare answer of every question, every possible question within 30 seconds. Okay, I'm sorry. If you find some unexpected question, then you go long, not an issue. But if it is a expected question, if it is an expected question, then you should be short, and in first few seconds you emphasize on main basic points. Okay, everybody is going to be prepared for interview board. So GDP, asking about GDP is normal. Everyone expects a question will come from this GDP decline. Then if you are not prepared and if you are not able to represent yourself in 30 seconds, then you are not going to leave an impression. Okay, what others believe, am I right or wrong? You can rectify me. Nobody listens you more than 30 seconds in an interview. Basically in banking interview, I don't know in others they may be listening, but nobody in a banking interview have patience to listen you for more than 30 seconds. And when it is a multiple board, the other one is not interested in somebody else's question. He will have his own question in mind and he will be ready to shoot that one. So from next time onwards, whenever you are facing a expected question, try to be short. Okay, there you are absolutely right. You have emphasized on every parameter, but I want you to be specific. Okay, arrow points, bold points. You come with bold points first, then they will say you to elaborate how consumption impacts economy. Then you go ahead. Not an issue. Okay, anyone else want to answer this question? Because you people need to speak. The one thing I expect my seniors, my friends, my colleagues to tell me about my flaws, about my mistakes. Okay, so when I gave them the links of my classes, they said that everything is fine, but as this interview will come nearer, you will allow your students to speak a lot. You don't speak. You allow your students to speak, because it is, at the end of the day, it is how you speak and how you represent yourself. So that is why this is a pilot session for all of you to have a chance to speak up. Okay, so, and I will rectify it, or others will also rectify. So please go ahead. If anyone else want to answer this question, please unmute yourself and speak. Not an issue. Please, or we will go to our next question. Okay, do you believe it is act of God? Who said it is act of God? Who do you believe it is act of God? You have not answered that one. Do you believe it is act of God or not? Do you believe it is act of God or not? Please, absolutely not. How? Okay, you think it's man-made. Government has deliberately allowed the economy to fail. You want to say this? That means government has done very little to save the economy. Because in your point, one of your major point you have raised is COVID-19. That was led the economy to fail. And COVID-19 is an act of God. And how you will justify that it is not an act of God? That means you feel this Modi government has allowed the economy to fail. The economy is failing everywhere around the world. So why you believe that this is act of God? What scope government could have during this COVID-19 time to revive the economy? Yes, yes, please go ahead. Yes, who is this? Yeah, Girish, go ahead. Yes. Hmm. Okay. 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 So you are saying that GDP growth, the GDP decline was there on cards, and just COVID-19 just added to the worries of GDP growth. Okay. Yes. So how you know that GDP was declining? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. RBI profit is not a right word. Okay, RBI don't show its balance sheet. RBI don't do business, though it has incomes, but it doesn't do business. Okay, okay, okay. Banks are more cautious, but Nirmala Sitaraman day in day out is infusing liquidity to economy through various schemes. What about that? Okay, see, while the world's GDP is in a decline stage. Okay, and this growing economies, this already grown economies like US, China are in a decline mode. Okay, they have reached a saturation point, and so in India. But India cannot afford a falling GDP growth, because the highest poverty line people, the more number of people in poverty line, they are staying in India. So India cannot afford it. If India want to elevate people out of poverty, India needs to have a steady GDP growth. Okay, that is how China has improved. China has raised people from poverty lines with with a very high GDP growth. So in India we expect it, but GDP growth in India beyond 8 to 9% seems impossible. So this crude oil, the price of crude oil, and many economy worries through global economy worries is on cards, and that's why India was not doing good in terms of GDP growth, and India's export was not up to mark. Okay, India's export was declining due to various reasons. So this is the main reason, and yes, there is a trend seen of GDP decline. Not only this COVID-19, there was earlier GDP data shows a decline in growth. Though government of India was planning a 5 trillion economy by 2025, but there was a decline, and some flaws in current policies are also adding to this worries. Yes, this act of God, COVID-19 was out of control situation. It was not man-made and it was not expected. How government dealt with COVID-19 cannot be. I don't think it is okay to challenge, because nobody expected and no government was having previous exposure to such kind of calamities. Hence, telling it as a complete act of God is factually wrong. But at the same time, yes, COVID-19 is not man-made, and some economic shocks was expected. Okay, this is what I believe. But we need to be short and crispy when we will be telling about India's GDP decline. Okay, this is act of God kind of questions are political one. You have to refrain yourself from making a remark against the political parties, against the government, or with the government, because you can side with the government's decision, but you cannot go against the government's decision. But while siding with the government decisions, you side with a static government decision, but don't side with a government's political decisions. Okay, you making a comment on Sahin Bagh, you making a comment on that NPR, which are politically correct or incorrect statements. Okay, you don't go with that, because you don't know the interviewer which side he may go with, whether he will be liking Rahul Gandhi or maybe Modi. You don't know that, na? Okay. Okay, let's go to our next question. How to revive the economy? My answers to the first question is India's economy is a consumption driven economy, and in a consumption due to this COVID-19, consumption was declining drastically, hence India's economy was in a downtrend. And yes, the COVID shocks are adding a lot to the worries. Okay, so let's answer how to revive the economy. Can anyone tell? Madhusudan, your answer was correct, but I don't expect my students to go long. Okay, because when you are so long, people tend to lose interest in hearing you. Okay, yes. These are expected questions. In expected ones, you should not be long. You should be short and crispy. You have time to prepare. Even if after this session, you prepare on these questions. Okay, to make 3-4 lines, you or 4-5 lines, you post it in a WhatsApp group. Others will add it, and we will find a factually correct answer with 4-5 lines maximum. Okay, that is how we will make 1 or 2 sessions in a week, so that all the expected questions with answer we will come up with answers. Okay. Okay, please anyone go ahead with how to revive economy. Who will be answering it? Yes, come on. Yes, Madhu. Okay, Hmm. 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 So your first point is revive MSME sector. Okay. Okay. What else? Government expenditure. You want to? Okay. Anyone? Anyone else? Any answer? Go ahead, please. Here, your points are one liners. Okay, great. He is saying, yeah, startups now are in public sector. Sorry, priority sector. So yes, so credit flow to startups will now increase. Definitely, it will increase. Okay. So others, please answer in go ahead with one liners. He said, revival of MSME is crucial to revive India's economy. Okay. And he is also saying government's expenditure should rise, but that means you saying that raise our salaries. Yes, increase export. That's great. I have a question on that. I'm coming good to that. Don't worry. Yes. Self reliance. Great. Okay. But self reliance will have initial chance. Yes. Hmm. Satyaprakash, you will be answering this question in 2 minutes. Okay. Next, you unmute yourself and speak. How to revive economy? Okay, go ahead. You are telling something. You were saying that government's expenditure. You were telling about government. Government should increase expenditure, but when GDP is in decline, income is not coming. It is hardly possible to have a chance that government will increase expenditure. So okay, yes, economy may revive, but we don't have a time for slow recovery because the GDP has declined sharply. We need a sharp rise in GDP growth. So revival economy, there are few points you raised. You said that about MSME, it's absolutely correct. Revive MSME and MSME credit flow. This restructuring measures that has been initiated by Reserve Bank of India is a welcome step. I believe so. And but about this government's expenditure, but government has a very little chance that government could increase no, this expenditure in these challenging times. But government can allow more cash with public through various initiatives. Government may allow the highest higher liquidity in public and higher spending capabilities with public. Okay, that's right. Correct. That is what that is how government will allow more money with public. GST is in some additional concession in GST, some direct rebates in tax, direct income tax, but there is very less number of people in India paying tax, so it's a challenging task, but government has to do. Okay, others, any other idea? Other idea? Any other idea? Government has to improve supply chain. Okay, because in COVID-19 the major disruption is supply chain disruption. Am I right? Supply chain disruption is the main challenge. So government has to look how the supply chain disruption worries can be addressed. Right. Right. Any other idea? Any other idea? Any other idea, please? How to revive the economy? How to revive economy? See, job creation is a point. Job creation is a issue, but at the same time, business creation is also important, because after this COVID-19, business will shift drastically. This industry, which is travel industry, will get has got initial jolts, and people will not be comfortable enough to travel in upcoming years. And businesses, new type of businesses will now start to flourish, like this mask making business, that is dependent on mask making, manufacturing of masks, manufacturing of things that is help in sanitization. Okay, so these will be new sectors. So now, after post COVID-19, India needs to look into new sectors where the speedy development can happen. And apart from job creation, it is time to look for business creations also, and help entrepreneurs to make their business flourish in new environment. So new policies, new business friendly policies needs to be done, and new policies that will attract companies to work inside India, because many countries, many companies that were already working in China will now shift to India. And basically the Indian companies that were having manufacturing units in China will now shift to India. So India should have a eco-friendly environment for business. Okay, these are the main steps I believe uh, is crucial for revival of economy. Okay, and the basic thing of this interview is you should not be 100% correct in your answer, because you are not going to be marked on your means how what is the percentage of your correctness in a question. You will be marked initially the confidence, the skills you have, the presentation skills you have, the knowledge base you have. There are many factors that will be checked into. Okay, so apart from knowledge, you should have a confidence, and you should have a style of delivery. So in the basic style of delivery, you should be short, you should be to the point, you should answer, and you should represent yourself with more clarity. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next question. What will be the impact of ban on Chinese goods in India? What will be the impact of Chinese goods? Everybody believe that if we will ban Chinese goods, our economy will revive immediately. Is it so? Will it help India's economy grow immediately? Will it help India's economy grow immediately? Please go ahead. Can anyone tell? What will be the impact of ban of Chinese goods? There is somebody was saying about this self-reliant India. There is a so much. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so in various sectors, it will hurt India's interest initially, but in long run, India's economy will get a chance to revive. But they see during this LPG time, this liberalization, privatization, and globalization time, it was good. But at some point of time in latter days, it was felt that India's export is declining by allowing too much of foreign investment. Okay, foreign imports. But you cannot deny a specific country to import you. And basically Chinese companies and Chinese government is using India and other countries, other low cost countries, to dump their products. Okay, so when they are dumping their products, dumping means they are selling their products in a lower value. Maybe sometimes they are selling it in a in a loss. Okay, that is dumping. They have manufactured huge products, and they are not being sold, and they now need a country to dump all these goods. So they choose India for dumping, especially. Though there are some sectors where we seriously need products like pharmaceuticals, telecommunication equipments, etc. But many in like toy industries, like in other finished good industries, there are instruments which is dumped by Chinese companies. So that was hurting India's export credibility in a long run, and in the demand of Indian goods in India is also declining. But as Chinese companies have a huge impact on India's supply chain, it will seriously hurt our GDP. That though there was some there is some issue in this recent GDP decline. I think one of them is this Chinese product ban. Will can This may have some contribution to Chinese product ban to this GDP decline. So, because for many months, these Chinese goods that were in Indian ports were dumped, were there. No clearance, no excise clearance were given to these products. So that was hurting India's interest initially. But in a long run, it will definitely improve India's skills. The companies that has gone to China will now come back. See, Mahindra Tractor is an Indian company, but they manufacture in China and come back to India through shipping and sell them back in India. And the tractors are heavy goods. So if they could do so with the tractors, then see what type of investment they do with this transportation. So if their transportation charge will be uh, we, we make we subtract that transportation charge, then if they will manufacture in India, they will incur a huge profit. Okay, so we should make this environment so friendly, so that these companies that they are coming out of China will get a place to do business without any government pressure, and it will in a long run help Indian companies to flourish inside India at least. Okay, so this is the main reason. So let me okay okay. So let's move to the next question. What are the ways to reduce NPA? Be short. The ways, the tools that are in the hands of a banker to reduce NPA. If I will ask how to reduce NPA, then the question will be different one. But what are the ways? That means the acts, the tools, the policies that that are there to reduce NPA. Please go ahead. Yes. Yes, surface. Apart from surface. Yes, this is RDDBFI Act. Okay. Recovery of debt due to banks and financial institution Act 1993, which has formulated DRT and DRAT, right? Then, 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 anyone else? Any other act? Yes, IBC, definitely. Okay. Other acts? Lok Adalat, right? right? Other tools. If we will go chronologically, then first RDBBFI Act. This is a recovery of debt due to bank and financial institutions, which formulated DRT and DRAT. 1997, this act, this is no, what is that? This is one-time settlement by Reserve Bank of India. This is not an act. This is a policy by Reserve Bank of India. Then in 2001, this restructuring of corporate debts. Okay, corporate debt restructuring (CDR) came into effect in 2002. SURFACE. Okay, in 2006. In 2016 it is IBC, Insolvency Bankruptcy Code. Okay, apart from this, Lok Adalats are there. Okay, so these are the major tools, and in this current scenario, these restructuring measures, restructuring directions that is given by Reserve Bank of India owing to this COVID-19 outbreak is there to address the NPA worries. Okay, let's go to the next question. What will be the impact of moratorium on banking sector? Do you believe it's okay to have moratorium or not? Please go ahead, anyone. What will be the impact of moratorium? What will be the impact of moratorium on banking sector? Okay. NIM. Anyone else? The main impact. Asset quality. Okay. The sharp rise of bad debts. Bad loans will rise in India, and people will get a sense that this repayment habit of common public, general public, will go down. Okay, there will be atmosphere that you can even sustain without repaying. This repayment habit will come down. It will badly affect this repayment habit. Even in future, whenever there will be a similar kind of incident, or an incident with lower intensity will happen, people will shout for risk of collection. People will shout for moratorium. Okay, now people will be used to it. Like they have many people who have done with this farm loan waiver. Many people who are taking loans in a sense that today or in a later date it will be waived. Many able people who could repay the loan are not paying, so that is impacting the repayment habit of people. Okay, the major impact of this asset quality or the bad debts will rise, and second one is the repayment habit. People will have a sense that even if something happens, any calamity happens, they have a chance not to repay, and many people, those who are able to pay back a loan, they will now seek moratorium. Okay, this is the main impact. And what is MPBF? Maximum permissible bank finance. What is that? What is that? Please. I think we have covered this in our working capital session. We have covered it thoroughly. I don't think that anybody will be struck. Please. Why I am not getting any answer? Yes. MPBF, be short. You don't need to explain all that. MPBF is the maximum permissible bank finance, and this is done on recommendations of. This is done in recommendation of Tandon Committee. Okay, there are 3 MPBF methods. Last time in our working capital session, when I spoke about this, there are 3 methods of MPBF. people are messaging me, people are saying me, sir, you have made a mistake. There is only two. I said that I have told that there are three and only two are in use, but I don't think why. It's good to rectify me. I'm not a Google, but still I have made a homework before coming to you. I know that there are three methods and out of two. Even I know what is the third method I could have taught you, but I stick to my view that we should be specific, and what is really required we will focus on that one. So that's why I have not made a lesson about the third method of MPBF. Yes, there is a third method of MPBF, and this could be a tricky question. You will be knowing it, but you don't need to know what is that method. Okay, but there are two methods of MPBF, first method and second method, and depending upon the risk assessment capabilities of the bank, and depending upon the corporate that you are financing, you can choose a method. Okay, the first one is bit liberal one, and the second one is a little tight one. Okay, in first one you give what, 75% of the, yes, right, 75% of CA. Okay, and in the second method 25% of current CA, current assets, you ask this borrower to arrange as a margin. Okay, okay, I think we have covered that one, so we don't need to cover this in this session. We have a special video, 3 videos on that. Okay, so this is it. Next class I want more participation from all of you, and I don't think it's required to share this PDF because it only constitutes the question, but I want you to have a specific answer to all these 6 questions what we covered today. I want you to answer them. Okay, someone start taking initiative, first answer, then others do rectify, and so that we will have a specific answer to every question. Okay, because we have a time and we know what type of questions are going to come, hence we need to be specific. We need to come up with correct answers, actually correct answers with a short period of time, not more than 30 seconds. We should have a question, we should have two types of answer to every question. One answer within 30 seconds, and one, if somebody does not if the interviewer want to listen to you for more than 30 seconds, then you should have some basic points with you ready for answering him up to 1 minute, but not beyond 1 minute there should be any answer. Okay, 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 you can give your feedback to this session. I think it is on the recommendations of few of my friends to allow you to speak. I think it's a great initiative, because I was waiting for this interview process to be finalized so that I would have allowed you to have mock interviews, but we have started doing it early, so that's a great thing. Okay, from next class onwards I want all of you to speak. Okay, if not in all questions, but in some of the questions you must speak, because we have very limited students in this session, so you will all get a chance. Staying silent is not the solution, because everything will depend upon your speaking ability in the interview board, and you will be speaking all of it through BC, and in upcoming days every interview will be conducted through BC. Okay, because this COVID is going to stay with us. Okay, thank you for joining in.